Hi, and welcome back to I'm a Happy Enchilada. And if you're a first-timer, thanks for tuning us in. I'm Don Culver, and I'll be your host. And today, I want to talk about being overwhelmed. It's a terrible thing to feel overwhelmed by life circumstances, real or imagined. It could be due to fear, expectations, stress, anxiety, or even that voice in your head screaming out, saying you're over your head in this, not smart enough to do it, and can't possibly get through whatever it is you're facing. Now, any combination of the above are enough to push you over the edge into being overwhelmed, and where the fear, anxiety, and stress are whipped up into a tornado of negativity that further chips away at your fragile state. It's a scary place to be and calls for a timeout and a reassessment of one's situation. In my own life, I've dealt with depression, fear, stress, and ongoing anxiety that would dip into overwhelming from time to time for many years, without much coaxing, I might add, and finally relieved through a series of strategies, including therapy, self-education, an adult children of alcoholics program, and Al-Anon, and the grace of God. This topic is another that is near and dear to my heart. So now, let's get started, shall we? First, emotional overwhelm is a state of being beset by intense emotion that is difficult to manage. It can affect your ability to think and act rationally. It could also prevent you from performing daily tasks. Emotional overwhelm may be caused by stress, traumatic life experiences, relationship issues, and much more. What does overwhelm feel like? Well, often overwhelm is as uncomfortable as it is uncontrollable. It rears its ugly head as anxiety, anger, or significant irritability and worry. Doubt and helplessness also make their way into a person's normal thought processes. Now, physically, it can manifest when a person lashes out verbally, cries, or has a panic attack. Well, I can certainly relate to a lot of this. How about you? Oh, it's a terrible feeling. I hate it. Now, here's some ways to tell if you are overwhelmed. You feel sick. If it feels like every week you have a cough, sore throat, or fever that you can't seem to shake, it can be a sign of too much stress. If you have trouble focusing or concentrating, you have trouble sleeping, you're missing out on your favorite fun activities. And also, being overwhelmed, is it a good or a bad emotion? Well, it can be either. For example, if a friend takes care of your dog while you're out of town and all goes well, you could be overwhelmed with gratitude. But if your friend is careless and the dog gets out and runs away, you could be overwhelmed with grief. So, I think it's time for some tips for those times when we're feeling overwhelmed, right? Now, take a deep breath and step away if you're feeling overwhelmed or anxious. A quick way to begin to alleviate those feelings is by doing breathing exercises. They're so good. Now, be kind to yourself and ask for help from a loved one or close friend. Also, write it out, your thoughts and your feelings. They're important. And those are good suggestions. And a couple more common questions. First, why do small tasks sometimes overwhelm me? Well, when you struggle with anxiety, even small everyday tasks can seem like huge obstacles. As a result, you'll start to feel even more overwhelmed and nervous because you can't get things done. That's because Anxious thoughts tend to blow up even the smallest things. And secondly, why do I get angry when overwhelmed? Well, people with high anxiety often feel on the verge of overwhelm because they have to work so hard to manage their own internal emotional state. So, when a challenging situation arises, you might be maxed out, which manifests as anger or a short fuse. And lastly, I want to share something I did that worked really well for me in the beginning to get unfinished tasks completed. Well, I started by making a list of all tasks needing to be completed. I started my list with the easiest task at number 1, and then the next easiest task at number 2, and so on. Then I began. The first task was completed quickly, and it felt good with one win. Then I started on task number 2, and it was completed easily, and I felt even better. And then on to task 3, which I completed and began feeling stronger, and so on down the list until all items were completed. I was surprised how easy it was, really. Give that a try. I think you'll like it. Well, that's all I've got. So until next time, God bless and be a happy enchilada. Bye.